I grew up in Eastern Europe, in a country called the Socialist Republic of Romania, a communist country. I was 20 years old when the revolution took place, 1989, December 1989. And I grew up knowing that it's not good to talk about certain things. We didn't used to speak against the President Ceausescu at the time. We were used not to talk about certain issues, religion, for example. You didn't talk about religion or do public meetings. You didn't make jokes about the Communist Party, or you didn't criticize the Communist Party, or you didn't criticize the president or his wife, Elena Ceausescu. So I'm used to, or I know how it is to grow up into a context where you are not allowed to talk about things. You're not allowed to talk about things. So anytime now when I'm told, you cannot say this, you cannot say that, you cannot talk about that, you cannot talk about this, I get a little bit nervous and it scares me. And especially when I hear in countries like United States or United Kingdom, you are not allowed to talk about certain things, issues like vaccination. You're not allowed to criticize or to doubt or to. That scares me. That scares me because I know how to live life under a totalitarian regime, in a dictatorship. And whenever I hear this, it's like a sign of that, and it shows me that we can easily go back into that situation, into that place. And especially when it comes from countries from the West, European Union, United Kingdom, United States, So whenever, like, for example, I'm in United Kingdom and they tell me you cannot talk about this and you cannot talk about that. You cannot talk about sex, for example, sexual issues, gender and stuff like that. And why can't we talk about it? Because not talking about it will block us into a situation, it won't allow us move forward. Because by talking about it, we form ideas, we make things clear, we clarify things. So talking about things is vital for me. Talking about things helps us to see the future, to decide about the future. Talking, discussion, conversations, debates, So what, am I trying to make a point for freedom of speech? Yeah, I'm trying to make a point for freedom of speech because it's so important to me. It's so important to us as a Western civilization. So, yeah, it scares me when I hear people or institutions telling me you're not allowed to say this, or powers that be, the establishment, you're not allowed to talk about this, because it reminds me of my childhood, of 1970s and 1980s, growing up in a communist country. I don't want to go back there. I want to talk about stuff. Don't stop me talking about stuff. I want to talk about stuff because that's how we clarify things. So, you see, this is another funny thing. People want to live in a more equal society and they think socialism is the answer. But the people who think that never grew up in a socialist country, never grew up in North Korea or China, You only think it's a good idea until you live in a totalitarian regime. You live in a dictatorship, And it's funny because I am for equal rights, and most people are for equal rights. But what you don't understand is what communist countries are for equal outcome. Ceausescu put everybody in flats. Everybody works in factories and everybody lives in flats. But you see, the problem with that is there are always some people more equal than others. So while everybody was living in flats and working in factories, the Communist Party and the members of the Communist Party and the members of the elite would live in villas. So where is the equality? What we are striving for is leadership by example, but you won't get that. Leaders won't lead us by example. They won't work in the factories and they won't live life in a flat, So nobody gets to control the outcome. Yes, equal opportunities for it. Equal outcome, no, because not everybody will work the same. Some people are happy in a flat. Some people want to live in a house. Some people want a pool. Some people want a car. Not everybody wants to use public transport, for example. So yes, we do have problems. And I get that. We do have problems, but we need to talk about them because that's how we find the way forward. We have now problems with gender identity, major problems, We need to talk about them. We have problems with climate change. Yes, we do have problems with climate change. Yes, but we need to talk about it. Don't try to shove down my throat an ideology, an idea, Let's talk about it. Let's find the best way forward. We have many issues, many problems, but we need to talk about them. Whenever we try to force my point of view on the other one, it won't work. It won't work, or not talking about it won't work either. So I guess I want to talk about stuff. We need to talk about stuff. The conversation needs to continue. The dialogue needs to continue. The debates needs to continue. Yes, I would rather have a debate than a war. I would rather have a conversation than a war. So yeah,